Welcome to the MattyRocks experience and On the Road with MattyRocks, on location at NAMM 2015, day number 2. Joined with special guest, the beautiful, the talented, good friend, Dilana. Thanks for joining me, Dilana.
I like the beautiful part. Thank you, Matty.
Absolutely. So, you just got done playing the GoPro stage at NAMM. How was that experience for you?
It was really fun. Musically speaking, it was challenging today because I haven't worked with the band in a year, since NAMM 2014, basically. So that was challenging and fun because you never know what's going to happen. I like that kind of sensation. And it was also fun to have the little GoPro cameras all over the place. I kept looking on the big screen and then I'd see close-ups of the band and me and different angles, which was really cool.
And sending little messages through those videos.
Yes, and sending little messages. And of course, my very amazing, loyal friends and fans were in the front row, so I had a really good time.
Right on. It was a beautiful performance, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, Dilana, catch us up over the last year, 2014, some of the big highlights that happened for you before we closed out the year.
Well, I had a baby, which was definitely the highlight of my life. I had her in 2013, but in 2014, I really went on the road with her. By far the nicest tours I've ever been on, because it was always me and my guitar looking super rock and roll. Now it's me and a baby and a carriage and a baby bag and no guitar, which is definitely the most rock and roll I've ever felt. It just really grounded me to be on the road with her. You know, in the past, after the shows, I would hang out a lot, which is fine, but I was always exhausted the next day. I had a lot of vocal issues because I talked over the music to the fans all night. With the baby, it's helped me to be more regimental and leave the stage and go home or go to the hotel or to the van, whatever. So that's been the highlight of my year, just discovering new ways to tour with a baby. It's been fun.
Got to be challenging, but you seem to balance it well.
Thank you. It's very challenging, but yes, I'm there. I'm there.
As a parent, I can speak to that.
Yes, right.
Dilana, if you would, take MattyRocks listeners back to the early years of your life in Johannesburg, South Africa. Give us insight to how music and singing came into your life.
I didn't really realize as a young child that singing and music was so important to me until I was much older, of course. I just really loved it when I was little. According to rumors in the family, I always put on concerts and always sang in the school choirs and went to church just so that I could sing in the church choir. I guess for me as a child, it was a means to escape the situation I was living in, because I had a little bit of a tumultuous childhood. I had an alcoholic stepdad who was never home. He worked away. And then I had an alcoholic mother who was just lost, just a very lost mom. And so basically I had to walk and talk from the day I was born and raise myself. And music was a way for me to escape all that, even if it was just momentarily. And it wasn't until I was much older that I realized, wow, this music thing is becoming such a part of my life that I'm just going to keep doing it. And here I am.
Here you are.
Still doing it.
Who were some of the musical influences early on in your life who have helped shape and make you the great singer that you are today?
Thank you. I would have to say, it sounds cheesy, but ABBA was probably one of the very first influences, because that's what my mom played a lot at home. And even today, I'm still a huge fan, because to sit down and write the songs that they wrote is not easy. I've tried, believe me, and I think millions of artists around the world have tried. The simplicity, the structures of the songs, the melodies, the hooks, I can go on and on. They're just outstanding. So definitely ABBA had an influence on me. And then as I got older, Tina Turner, I loved her energy and her rawness and her just amazing stage personality. The way she can pull a crowd in. I've been to her shows. It's like she puts a spell on you. And then AC/DC, Led Zeppelin. I started growing up and listening to the heavier stuff. I loved Chrissie Hynde and the Pretenders, Roy Orbison, Elvis Presley. You know, so many influences, and a really broad variety helped me a lot, I guess.
A lot of great influences you just mentioned. How did the early times when you played in the choir and the church, how did all that prepare you for what you were about to encounter in today as a musician?
That's a great question. Well, it definitely helped me to work with others because I clearly remember always struggling to refrain from being the one that has to be seen and heard in this group. A lot of times, ironically, I did get the lead roles and I did get the solos, so it worked in my favor. But there were moments when I really had to discipline myself into taking a back seat and working with the group. So that really helped, especially I think when I went to Rockstar Supernova, there was a group thing too, and I even thought about it at that time, like, wow, it's a good thing I was in the choirs, because that helped me remember that it's not just about me, I have to work with others now. So, and also, you know, whenever you can be on a stage, whenever you can be in front of an audience, that's experience is vital, it's golden. So I did a lot of public performances within the choir in the church, which helped also to stand on a stage in front of hundreds and thousands of people.
Absolutely, good preparation. Leaving school at such an early age, how was that perceived by your parents at that time?
They didn't care. Are you kidding me? My mom didn't even know. I left her a note, stuck it in her Bible, and I said, hey, I'm going to go sing. And that was it. My stepdad, they were divorced, so he didn't really care either. Really, no one cared too much when I was a kid. And I was such a rebel that it was impossible for them to control me. They knew if I say, I'm going, there's nothing they can do about it. And good thing they did, because who knows what would have happened if they tried to cage me. Who knows?
Transitioning to Holland, how did you know that was going to be the music spot that jump-started your career?
I didn't know. I just knew that it was better than South Africa at the time. We tried really hard, my South African band, we tried really hard to break through internationally, but at the time with apartheid, there were so many sanctions, boycotts, there was so much music that we didn't have access to. Record labels weren't interested. I mean, we were doing really great in South Africa, but you could only go so far. And then we got this invite to go to Holland as a band and hang out with some friends and just get a few jam sessions, because we didn't have work permits. So we had all these shows booked, but we covered them as jam sessions, you know. So at the very first gig we got signed by a Dutch label. And that was my introduction, and went back to South Africa, and within a week I decided, that's it, I'm getting out of here. And I've never been back.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
After the success in Holland, you come across Rockstar Supernova. How did that opportunity come to be for you?
I was watching Rockstar in Excess, and I was super impressed with that show, because it wasn't like all the other reality shows. It really was about the music. And I got so frustrated watching it every week, thinking, man, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that better, I would do this, I would do that. And completely full of myself. And then at the end of that season, scrolling up on the screen with the credits was this thing that said, if you think you've got what it takes to be the next rock star, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, I've never done anything like this. Let me just take a chance. So I sent my promo material off, and I completely erased it from my mind, didn't think about it again. Honestly, in my mind, I thought, who in the world is going to think about this little South African girl in America, this huge land of opportunity, with no real serious labels or anything like that? There's no way. And yet I made it. So I guess what I really learned from that lesson, and advice to other young aspiring artists and singers and musicians, would be, never think that anything's impossible. If you really want something, just believe it. You have to see it. You have to visualize it. And you never know. It could happen.
Sum up your experiences on that show and what did it do for you?
I had some really great experiences. I had some really awful experiences, which to this day I have not spoken about, and I don't think I ever will. There were some really traumatic things that happened on that show. The power of the big corporations, it's scary. It's scary, and that's why my lips are sealed. The good things that happened are working under pressure taught me a lot. It wasn't like pressure, oh, I've got to write a song by next spring. It's like, here is a line, you have to write a song, or here's a theme. We want a song within 20 minutes, we're coming to judge you. 20 minutes. And when I say we're coming to judge you, I'm talking Tommy Lee, Gilby Clarke, and Jason Newsted are coming to the house and they're coming to judge you. So working under pressure for sure helped me a lot. Also, working with strangers and maintaining a level of professionalism, which was hard at times because the pressure made you want to crack all the time. You know, those producers planting little seeds in your brain, wanting to create drama for television. So working with strangers and maintaining to be myself, that was really hard, but it taught me a lot. There were moments when I was really weak and lost it. And then the other big thing that I can say is live performance with cameras and a lot of little cues and things that you have to remember. That for me was a big learning curve because I had never done that. I was always just singing in bars my whole life. So now it's really helped me when I'm on stage and there are cameras and we're being filmed to make good eye contact and to work around cables and marks. And so, you know, the technical stuff, I learned a lot from that.
From that show and all your experiences, you've had the opportunity to play stages all over the world in performances. What has been your most memorable performance that you can think of?
There are quite a few. Opening for Aerosmith is quite huge. But I think for me, whenever I do a benefit concert and I'm doing something that's for a good cause, I'm raising money for something that really matters to me, that's when I leave a venue feeling accomplished and feeling like I've made a change. I've made a difference in this world. For me, that compared to opening for Aerosmith is much bigger. And you might not believe it, Matty, but it's true. I'm actually very nice.
We know.
I'm hard, but you know what? I have a really soft heart. And those are the things that mean a lot to me.
Good. You have released 3 studio albums to date. Which one to you are you the most proud of, and what best represents you as a musician?
I've released 4, but
4?
The first one most people don't know about. It's called Dance with a Snake. My name was Kaz, C-A-Z.
It wasn't in your history, but...
Yeah, right, because I'm not really proud of it, so that leads to your question. I promised myself that I would never, after that experience, have an album that I don't want to listen to. So I have to say, without a doubt, my latest record, Beautiful Monster, was funded by my fans, and I was a huge part of the whole production. I was there for every single note, and I am so proud of that record. I don't think there's anything I would have done differently. Now it's a little while later. I listen to it now and I go, oh yeah, wow, I've already grown since then because I would have done that this way now. Now I would do it that way. But Beautiful Monster is my music, my way. That was the logo for my fundraising campaign. And it really worked out. It's very honest, it's raw, it's real. There's no fake instruments, there's no synthesized anything. It's what you hear on the record, you can pick up and put on a stage and it'll sound the same.
What's the fans' perception been?
They love it. They love it. They know that that's the real me because it's so honest.
Being a musician these days is not easy. What fuels you to keep you going at this?
A lot of things. Lately, my child, of course. This is my art. This is my skill that I'm completely confident with. I know that I can still do this for at least another decade, and that I can provide for her. But above that, I guess things like what I was talking about earlier, the reward I get from meeting new people, sharing my music, sharing the messages, sharing my pain, which in turn heals me and heals others. It just keeps me going. There have been so many moments where I just sit down and I go, that's it, I'm done. This business is so screwed up. I just can't do this anymore. And the next second, I'll get something in my inbox. And it'll be a letter from somebody saying, please, Dilana, don't ever stop. This is what your music has done for me. And then there'll be someone who tried to commit suicide, or someone who is gay and in the closet and's been living this life in a cage, basically, and never been able to come out and be themselves. And then they heard a song that I wrote, and that song empowered them to speak up and get out the closet and be happy forever. It's things like that, or videos of little kids singing my songs, and I'm like, oh my God, there's just no way I can let everyone down, including myself. I know that a month after I quit, I'll be climbing the walls. So it's a drug. Music really is a drug.
What message do you have for other aspiring artists out there who want to take this as their career?
Well, I think I kind of said it earlier, but I guess I could add some stuff. Number one, believe. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can get what you want if you work hard. You have to work hard in this industry. There are so many of us out here. And the other thing is, this is the most important one. Be yourself. Be real. Be true. Do not try and be somebody else, because you're going to catch yourself out at the end of the day. And people are going to see right through you. So be real. Be yourself. Work hard.
What's your biggest accomplishment as a musician to date?
I think so far my longevity. This is not an easy industry. The fact that I've been doing it for 28 years, traveling and living in different countries. I have a great fan base, and I'm still going, probably now stronger than before. Longevity, yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
You travel all over the world playing different shows. You have an array of different artists that you play with. Is that a hard thing to do? And how do you come across all these different artists?
That is a great question. It's really hard. Oh my God. It's nerve-wracking because I just did it in Portugal. I had to send my material to this Portuguese band. They don't speak very good English. And I had no idea what I was walking into. We had one rehearsal and the show the next day, the first show of a tour. So you just never know. Sometimes it works really great. This Portuguese band, unbelievable, fantastic. I was over the moon with happiness and joy. I've had other experiences where I flew all the way to Texas, had 10 minutes of a rehearsal and knew immediately this is not going to happen. I had to stop everyone right there and say, sorry guys, this is not happening. And then I had to fly my band in from LA, which cost me an arm and a leg as an indie artist. So you just never know. I find these musicians in various ways. You just got to know people who know people, and I can't do your gig, Dilana, but I know another guitarist who's amazing and he's probably available, and then I'll contact that guy and he'll say, I know some drummers and bass players, and usually I'll ask for videos. I'll send 3 songs, and 3 very different songs, and I can tell immediately whether they've got the groove or not, and I'll ask for a video. Sometimes it's not exactly there, but I can see the potential, and then I'll make comments and ask for more videos. So it's a process. But, what's his name? Chuck Berry. That's the way he's done it all his life. He has his suitcase with his mic in it, sends his material, flies over to the city, rehearses with a band, does his show, and goes home. So it's easier for me. I can't afford flying musicians all over the place. And again, it's a nice opportunity. It's a great opportunity to meet other artists.
And you sound great with them all.
Thank you.
Dilana, the actress, we can't forget to talk about your role in Angel Camouflaged. How did that whole opportunity for that movie come to be for you?
Rockstar Supernova did that for me. It's unbelievable how things can snowball, and you never know. And that's what I always tell people. When you get on stage, even if there are only 5 people in that room, you don't know who one of those 5 people could be, or all 5. You have to give the best show of your life every single time. And on Rockstar Supernova, my very first live performance on TV, there was a guy sitting at home in North Carolina, a movie director. He saw me and wrote the whole script around me, made me the main character, and yeah, there it is. And used 9 of my original songs for the film. Yeah, just an amazing opportunity. It's opened a lot of doors for me, but the industry is so bad. So many movies are getting pushed. I've been cast in 2 other films as a lead and a smaller role, and both those movies have just been pushed. So, but you know, the opportunities are there.
Well, I've yet to see the movie, and I hope you brought my copy.
I forgot it. You did tell me yesterday, didn't you?
What is one thing you've learned about yourself over the years that maybe you never knew before?
Oh, I'm so full of crap. Well, that I've known. I guess, again, going back to having a child, I didn't know that I had it in me to have so much patience. I've been the most impatient person my entire life. I want everything to happen yesterday and my way. And now that I've had River, I can see that I'm astonishingly one of the most patient people I know. It's really miraculous.
It's a tough thing to work on.
It is. Yes, definitely.
What's it like returning to the South African crowd and playing for them when you get the opportunity?
It's so cool and it's so weird because I really see the difference between living in Europe and America for the last 25 years or whatever. No, not 25, I'm lying, about 20 years. But I see the difference between me and people who have just been there all their life. And I'm not talking them down or anything. It's just, I recommend traveling to everybody that I meet. Young people, travel. It broadens your horizons. It shapes you, it molds you, it sculpts you, it educates you. It's hard for me to have real conversations with a lot of the people there because they can't relate. But then I see the joy in them when and how proud they are of me. I really see that. They're so proud of one of their own going overseas and making a life for herself. And so I always love going back home. I always love it.
You've had the opportunity to play for the troops. What's it like to play for them, knowing what they do for us?
You know, I forgot to mention that earlier. After doing benefit shows and charity fundraiser things, I think playing for the troops is definitely one of the best achievements of my career. That is the most rewarding show ever because, first of all, they're sober. There's no alcohol allowed on those bases in Afghanistan. So you're playing to 5,000 to 10,000 men and women, soldiers, who are glued to you. And they are sucking every word out of me. Every little bit of energy I'm giving, they're sucking it up. Because all they see all day is the dust and the sand and the death and the violence and the war and the crap, you know. So for me to entertain them for 1 hour and take them away for that moment in time and see, oh my God, I cried so much when I was there out of pure joy because I saw their tears of joy and the stories they came and told me and just everything, the mothers. And I went to their bunks and saw the little pictures of their kids and little notes from their kids and those mothers sacrificing their own lives, you know, and their time and energy for us. I can't even, it makes me want to cry. It's very emotional. It's amazing.
Is there anything maybe that we haven't covered in this interview that you would like to throw in there?
Wow. Have we talked about how awesome you are?
No.
Well,
thank you.
Matty, we've done a lot of interviews and we know each other behind the scenes. I think you do a lot of good for the music industry and you really love artists and you're always supporting us. So I think we need to raise a glass to you.
Thank you.
I think you've done really well in this interview. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What does the future hold for Dilana?
Raising my daughter. It's a big chore, but it's a great one. Hopefully a lot of new songs. And I'm trying to focus on the happier songs these days It's never been my forte. But now that I have her, I'm feeling all kinds of new feelings that I've never felt in my life. And I think that's going to bring some happy songs. Yeah.
Where can fans keep up with everything that's going on with you, including all the beautiful music that you continue to put out?
Thank you. I'm all over the social network, Twitter, Facebook. My website is DilanaRocks.com. And I guess that's it, Twitter. Did I say Twitter and Instagram? Yeah, all those things.
All right. Go check them out. Dilana, I'm going to give you the opportunity to send a message to MattyRocks listeners all around the United States and around the world who are going to potentially hear and see this interview. What would you like to say to them?
Well, there's this quote that I really love. And I think it's a really good one. Henry Ford said, "If the road forks, take it." No. Can we do that again?
Do it.
It's not Henry Ford. Henry Ford said something completely different, and I can't remember it. Whether you think you can or not, either way, you're right. That's right. That's what Henry Ford said. No, my advice, or my, what was I supposed to do?
Message to MattyRocks listeners
Sorry.
all around the United States and around the world.
Okay. My message to all the MattyRocks listeners and people out there around the world would be, keep it real. Be yourself. And as cliche as it sounds, live every moment as if it's your last. Life is short.
Great message.
Thank you.
Dilana, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy NAMM day to sit with me.
I'm such a cheese ball.
This was truly an honor for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Matty. Thanks for doing this.
Continued success to you and everything you have going on musically in your life. And you've heard it here, MattyRocks listeners, on the road with MattyRocks and Dilana, NAMM 2015. MattyRocks out.
Oh, that was awesome, man.